Hello. Hey, John.
Top of the afternoon or high noon to you, kind sir.
Yeah, it is high noon here. So,
High
yep.
noon there.
Yep.
Beautiful. It's 2 in the afternoon here.
Two. Okay, that's right. We're 2 hours different. Sometimes I forget. I'm thinking you're
I
on the
do
East
too.
Coast, but yeah, we're
It's
pretty.
amazing that we've been able to coordinate our thing to be on at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I It works out really well. I have. I think I've mentioned. I have for now. Hopefully, nothing changes with it. I have a condensed schedule where I get to do 410s. So Monday's
Yes, you have
always
mentioned that.
a nice thing for me. A good time for personal exploration. Um, so that's what I like to do on my Mondays. How about
Beautiful.
you? What's new?
Well, I'm getting into this. I have this little part-time job.
That's right. You mentioned that.
Yeah, driving.
Uh
It's about
huh.
25 hours a week, 20
Oh
to 20.
wow. Okay.
Um, uh, Very low key. I don't have to show up if I don't want to.
Hmm.
Like this week, I have a dental appointment. And Mary has an appointment in the afternoon. I'm going
Okay.
to just not go to work that day. I don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah, that's nice.
But it's fun. This job, I'm driving inner city residents to and from the hospital,
Yeah.
and they come up with great stuff
Yeah,
every day.
that's fun.
Great material.
So good stories and just hearing about their life. I mean, I imagine that sort of scratches a little bit of the itch of working some of these folks that are from the hospice background. Of course, I imagine that fills a little void that maybe is missing from retirement.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Friday I picked up a guy. Whenever I had to pick up a guy from the psychiatric facility,
Okay.
um, I always know that I'm going to hear something uncommon. So I'm driving with this guy. He was in there for a month, and I said to him, "So were you born here in Milwaukee?" Nah.
Hmm. Nah.
I said, "I said, oh, where were you born?" He says, "I was born everywhere." That kind of thing is I just love that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Then this woman sitting there on Thursday or Friday saying, "I just want to get inside the Oval Office and whoop Donald Trump with this here purse right here."
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I imagine there's a lot of interesting characters involved. Like, yeah.
yeah,
And some, some people who you're like, gosh, you know, we could have met and been friends at some
yeah,
point as we cross paths in some other
yeah.
time or way, right?
I was with a guy last week, a young guy. I said, "Did you follow the NFL draft?" "Yeah, I followed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Not didn't care too much about it." I said, "Okay. Are you disappointed the Bucks were eliminated?" "Yeah, kind of. I don't really care about the sports though.
Yeah.
This is an inner city resident." I
Hmm.
said, "Okay, well, what are you interested in?" This is education.
Oh.
I said, "How outstanding is that?" And I said,
Yeah.
"What kind of education?" Because I'm training to be a fireman and a sculptor.
Oh. Okay.
I said, "A fireman and a sculptor." So I talked to him all about Renaissance man, and he took the
Yeah.
word down, and he's going to look it up.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this work.
Yeah. Sounds like it. It sounds like it's good. A good little outlet and, you know, like I said, something in your retirement to, you know, keep exploring, keep what's the word? Kind of staying in touch with what's going on, how people are going through life in the world, right?
Yeah, and
So,
hearing perspectives that I wouldn't otherwise hear.
yeah, I bet.
Um, it's like I have a collection of jazz records, and I can sit and listen to them the rest of my life. But going out to hear it live is an entirely different dimension, and I can sit and read about inner city problems, but going out and being in the car with them,
Yeah.
entirely different thing.
Yeah.
And the diversity of perspectives.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very
Absolutely.
nice. Very nice. And you have a birthday in your family. Did you want
I
to mention that?
do. I do. um, yeah. Little shout out to my oldest daughter. She turns 12 today. Evie. I don't know if she ever watches these, but if she ever does, and she's like, "Oh, my dad did this thing," she'll see that I honored her today on her birthday. She was born on Mother's Day, this day, 12 years ago. Um, so
2013.
yeah, and my kids informed me there's this thing called a golden birthday. Well, apparently it's the year of life that coincides with the day of the month. So anywhere between 1 and 31, I guess, depending on the birth month. So this is her golden birthday, 12 on the 12th day of the month. So apparently that's the
Marvelous.
thing. So yeah,
Happy golden
happy golden birthday, Evie.
birthday, Abby. If
Yeah.
you're watching, and even if you're not, we'll send it to you in absentia.
You know what? She was actually a YouTuber before I ever got on here.
Oh, yeah.
She had some she makes some animated themed sort of creations that she got into, and she had a few of them. Like one of them went viral once and she got a ton of views, like thousands of them. But she's kind of that simmered down a bit, but she's amazing little spirit and old soul, and yeah,
We need to go viral
she,
one of these
she's
days.
she's an advocate. She's active.
Yes, you mentioned this. That's
Yeah, she's the
beautiful.
one who decided on her English topic it was going to be women's rights, and I'm like, oh, you go, girl, heck yeah.
I
So
remember you talking about that.
yeah, yeah, she's an awesome kiddo. So
It's beautiful.
yep. So
Happy birthday, Abby.
thank you, and thank you for those who are tuning in and sharing this day with us. So appreciate you. So what do we have?
Well,
What do we have on the lineup today?
we have some things.
We do, huh?
Yeah. We're going to start off with a song with a verbiage update.
Okay, a
Does that sound
verbiage
good?
update.
I got to prioritize, though.
Okay,
Not priority. We
yeah.
have a special guest today.
Oh,
She's in her cage right now.
oh,
No,
okay.
I'm not talking about Mary.
Ha!
Just a second here.
So we're not talking about any sort of inhumane. Oh my goodness!
I'm
Look
going to
at
get
that.
her out.
Oh, what do we? Yeah. Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
This is Nellie.
Nelly. Oh Nelly, that was not intentional. Oh Nelly.
Right. Three
Oh my
weeks
goodness.
old.
She's
Three
so
weeks
cute.
old. Hey, honey.
Oh, precious. Are you
Isn't she?
fostering her? Mm,
Yes, we picked her up yesterday.
she's adorable.
A long drive,
What a sweetie. Oh,
isn't she? Oh,
yeah.
Nellie. A
That's
long drive down to a town called Kenosha, which is on the Illinois border. So it was like
yeah.
a 50-mile drive there,
Oh,
and bringing her back.
she's got the cutest hair, a little white spot on her chest. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And I
What?
got to tell you, Mary is so cute. Um, to wake up at 5 in the morning and see Mary awake with the cat between us in bed,
Oh,
and she's petting her and loving on her.
yeah.
She just loves
Oh,
these.
what a sweetie. What a sweet.
She had some kind of name too, Rangoon.
That was
But
her original name was Rangoon,
yes,
like crab Rangoon. The
yeah, yeah. And we said no, no. Nellie's a far better name. Do you agree, or would you have kept it?
Nelly is a fantastic name.
I
Very,
agree.
very appropriate. Very fitting. Well, man, that's awesome. We get a birthday and we get a precious little 3-week-old kitten. And how you said you're fostering, but somehow I doubt that. Yeah. Somehow I doubt that.
But I don't know, man. 5 cats is, you know, quite a bit. Well, it's just so cute.
Yeah.
This book that I'm reading, Combining,
Yeah.
we'll be talking about in a little bit, by the great Nora Bateson, daughter of the great Gregory Bateson. Where was I going with that? Oh, this is all intertwined.
Right.
Um, so we have 4 cats. We have Stargell, who meditates with me every night. He comes when I sit down on the meditation cushion. He comes and sits directly in front of me and puts his paw on my leg,
Oh.
and it's very cute. We have Violet, who is standoffish,
Hmm.
but precious anyway. We love her to bits.
Yeah.
And Then we have the 2 cats that we've acquired since you and I have been on the air.
Okay.
Since we started the podcast, Brewster and Henry,
Okay.
and they're gray cats that I call the squirrels collectively because they look kind of like, especially when they're little.
Yeah.
Brewster is a spitfire. He's into everything. He's energetic. Henry is uh, distinguishing himself.
Mm.
When we had Queenie the dog,
Oh yeah.
he was the one who courted her.
Mm.
He wanted to talk to her. He wanted to be with her.
Yeah.
Sniffed her. Interactive.
Yeah.
He's interactive with
You
Stargell. He's always
you
trying to
brought her
sniff.
in. You brought her in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we had poor little Dickens that we only had for about 2 days, who died.
Oh no.
I didn't tell you about that one.
I don't know if I heard about Dickens and passing away. Yeah.
Yeah, he was 3 days old when we got him. He died 2 or 3 days later.
Oh.
We think that his mother um, sensed that he was somehow doomed
Mm.
and pushed him away.
Yeah. Abandoned.
He just didn't make it. And Henry was very compassionate towards Dickens. Just
Yeah.
sat around him all the time. And now
Okay.
he's doing the same thing with Nellie.
Oh.
It's just so cute.
Yeah.
He's fascinated. Um, he's just solicitous of
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. That's
And
sweet.
Brewster, also today was being pretty good too. The older 2 are bored.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad are always bringing in fosters. They come
Yeah.
and go. This one will go too. Yeah.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 is a lot. Adding a, so having a 5th, but yeah, we will see. Yeah.
5 cats.
Yeah. So you're probably looking at what? Getting at least the next 6, 7 weeks with her, um, until kind of through this phase.
Yeah, she has to be spayed, and I don't know how long it actually
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
but that's a good guess.
Yeah.
And so, and then we adopt her out, unless we don't.
Well, I don't think she'll have a hard time finding a home by that
Awful
point.
cute. Awful cute.
Yeah. So, but
So, Evie, Nellie, and we've got 2 more little show and tell things. Oh,
yeah.
3. We're just loaded up, aren't we?
Yeah. What do we got? So we got Evie's birthday, kitten Nellie, and we got Johnny.
Johnny Cash,
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Oh,
that's later. Oh, what do we got? So, okay.
it's coming along, as you
Nice.
can see.
Yeah.
Our little class project, for those who don't know,
Okay.
we have a little class project. These are snapdragons.
Yeah.
As I'm
Excellent.
seeing this, it looks like I'm going to have to thin the herd a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But right now, I would only do maybe 3 of these pulled. But right now, it's looking good. Now it's
Yeah.
looking robust, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah.
bet in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks we're going to have actual snapdragons popping.
Oh,
Oh,
that's the timeline, huh? Pretty soon. That's
I'm
cool.
just guessing. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn this upside down because I spilled dirt all over my keyboard. There you go. All done.
I love it. I love
Sorry, I
it.
hope I didn't disturb anybody
I
by
think we're
doing that.
good. I think we're good.
You love it?
Keeping it
Dirt on
real.
the keyboard.
Keeping it real, man.
Keeping
That's
it
great.
real. Exactly. I don't know how to not keep it real.
Yeah, right.
All right. So we're humming along here. And for people that are watching this for the first or second time, um, when we started these podcasts, it was sort of monotone in a certain way. We both are charming people, but um, we're just talking about concepts,
You're right.
good concepts, you know. But now we're trying to, because of Nora Bateson
Hmm.
and her concept of multi-dimensional, multimedia uh, take on life.
Yeah.
We're trying to expand. You know, I wouldn't have shown you the Nelly
Right.
previously,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and I wouldn't have shown you the plant.
Hmm.
Um, but now we're trying to open up
Right.
multi-dimensional podcast.
Well, and I think that's I think that's really it really is the right step, and I think it's a form of modeling, right? Um, we can, there's plenty of people who will continually teach or preach, and put concepts out there, right? I mean, we're inundated with all those things every day. You can get as much as you want or as little as you want. But what it's really about is integrating it, you know, making that a part of your life, part of your practice. And I think that's what we really, Nora Bates in this concept, would you say multi-dimensional? I like that. Multimodal, multi-spiritual. I mean, because you can have
Multimodal.
different beliefs and yeah.
One of her big words is transcontextual.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and that's the first thing we're going to talk about once we get to her. But we
Yeah,
still have two more things to do before we get to her.
yeah. So we got some integration going on. Um, should we do Johnny? Yeah, is
Let's
it time for
do
Johnny?
Johnny Cash.
Let's do it.
And
Okay.
I have a box set. It's 4 discs of Johnny Cash. It's called Unearthed. This is a
Okay.
lead in.
Yeah.
Um, Back when it came out was a long time ago, and I was like, "Oh, I want to get that."
Mm,
He There's a producer named Rick Rubin who's one of the genius music producers of our time, and
yeah.
he made the Red Hot Chili Peppers famous
Okay.
with his, and he's done other people. I think he did Smashing Pumpkins. I'm not sure about
Ooh.
that one, but he'll do, like people who are kind of older. He'll do the Rick Rubin treatment and revitalize their career.
Wow. Okay.
So Johnny was near death, and he recorded the American recordings. It was a series of 5 or 6 CDs. When it first came out, I was like, oh, Rick Rubin gets the musicians. He gets
Right.
them. He's like a meditator. He's a big long beard, and then his production approach is, the goal is to bring out who they really are.
Okay.
So a couple of years ago, I was in half price books where you can buy things cheaply, and instead of being $60 as it
Mm-hmm.
originally was, because it comes with a booklet and all, it's vinyl cover and all that stuff, cloth cover. It
Yeah.
was like $10.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I got to get this, and I bought it, and this is my favorite song on the album.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
good deal. So from the box set, this is what we've got. Okay, I'm gonna
on
switch
Earth.
scene here. I'm gonna try to switch the scene up here. So we are watching, viewing, listening from our other scene. There we go. All right. And there we are. Okay.
That song sometimes gets a little too celestial for a lot of people. And we got one that's right down to earth. And the new album we've just recorded, I'd like to do for you called I'm Just an Old Chunk of Coal. I'm just an old chunk of coal, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm gonna grow and glow till I'm so blue, pure, perfect. Gonna put a smile on everybody's face. Oh, but I'm gonna kneel and pray every day, lest I should become vain along the way. I'm just an old chunk of coal now, Lord, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm gonna learn all the new words to talk. I'm gonna search and find a better way to walk. I'm gonna spit and polish my old rough-edged self till I get rid of every single flaw. Oh, I won't be the world's best friend. I'm gonna go around shaking everybody's hand. I'm just an old chunk of coal now, Lord, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm just an old chunk of coal now, Lord, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday.
Well, there we go.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Little Johnny Cash. Hopefully that came through everybody that's viewing. The cool thing is, I noticed after our last time we did that, YouTube actually credited them in the description of our show. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it identified the artist and the material. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, so Johnny Cash, Old Chunk of Coal. What was your tell me about your inspiration? Obviously we talked about the backstory and this being your favorite song. But I'm curious, what brought it to our show today?
Transformation.
Okay.
Oh, I'm echoing. Are you hearing that?
Oh, here, let me try something. How's that?
Transformation. Yeah, it's not echoing. Perfect.
That's better. Okay.
We're going to talk about enlightenment in just a couple minutes here. And this is sort of the old school version of enlightenment. But I just think it's a real positive feeling in that song. I'm just an old chunk of coal, but I'm going to be a diamond someday.
Yeah.
I just like it. It just appeals to me.
Yeah. Well, and there's some mess. I think I heard something about lest I become vain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought of that too. And really, I think what spoke to me is it's this, just staying true to who you are. That being genuine, authentic. Um, and yeah, we can be really hard on ourselves and tough, and sometimes get caught up in dissociation or distraction or vanity, whatever. Um, but you just keep doing you and aspire to grow. Um, wake up, wake up, grow up, show up. All those.
Yes. Right.
You'll find yourself kind of evolving and being that better person, that, or as he says, from a old chunk of coal to a diamond. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I meditate at night, as I've probably said 30 times. Um,
Mm,
and when it's done, I usually sit there and listen to a couple songs before bed.
yeah.
Leave on Helm, the staples, like I've been sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Johnny Cash,
Right.
I was listening to him last week and this week from that particular album. And I heard this song and I was like, oh, that's such a great song.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
just,
it.
oh, it's humble. It's humble, but it's open to transformation.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Well, and,
Yeah.
and I could just listen. I mean, just listening to Johnny Cash. Yeah. I don't watch him perform much. So to be honest, that was kind of a new way of taking in Johnny with the live performance as well there.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to kind of see how much he's done in years and performing. And yeah, so
Yeah. I have,
good presence, and good, God, yeah, easy to connect with.
I have three CDs they recorded in Memphis in the 50s.
Oh, okay.
And then I have his most famous album, Live at Folsom Prison.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I did have these American recordings, three or four of those, recorded by Rick Rubin, but I don't have them anymore. I don't know where they went.
Mm.
Um, but I do have this Unearthed, which is the 4 CDs. He's got Tom Petty on there.
Oh, okay.
He's got the great Nick Cave that we talked about when we first were
Yeah.
on here. He's got Carl Perkins, um, Mike Campbell, also of the Tom Petty Heartbreakers, and more people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. Oh, Joe Strummer. Do you know who the Clash are?
I don't. Yeah. The
They
Clash.
had
Okay.
they had a famous song. Should I stay or should I go now?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
That's
That's the
Yeah,
Clash.
and they were kind of one of the biggest punk bands that there ever was.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Joe came on Hard Times,
Mm,
um, basically of his own doing,
yeah.
you know. Um, and Johnny embraced him.
Hmm.
We'll listen to that next week.
Okay.
Joe and Bobby and Johnny doing a Bob Marley song.
Oh, that sounds good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's on that album.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
sounds good. I like that. I'll definitely have to check
Yeah, I
that out.
forget the name of the song, but it's
I bet you
really
someone tuning in or watching this after is going to know exactly what song that is. So,
yeah, right,
yeah.
right.
But
All
well,
right.
cool.
Well, we're gonna go now to Nora.
Yes, Nora Bateson, the star of the show.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Nick,
Okay.
and this is not a trick question. It's not a trick question. Um, there is no wrong answer,
Okay.
but I expect you to answer in much the same way that I did,
All right.
as indicative of the way that our society thinks. What do you think when you hear in the word enlightened
Mm,
or enlightenment, or if somebody says he's or she is an enlightened person?
yeah. Well, I'm gonna just go straight up with what I thought immediately. And I think it's a different. I mean, first off, it's a difficult thing to pin down. But for me, what immediately came to mind was an starts with I think of awareness first of all comes to mind as soon as I hear of enlightenment, and I think of an awareness, and I think of that awareness it is of self, it is of community, and it is of sort of the bigger world at large, the universe at large, and really um, there's an interconnectedness of it, and and I
Oh, you're answering perfectly.
I think there's an exploration of a sense
Oh,
of curiosity of and what I think that helps me, why I think of that as enlightened, and people who I see as or consider enlightened, is that they tend to go through the life of really pursuing something with passion, whether it be exploring what's happening or their niche, whatever it is. There's they've zeroed in on something that allowed this bigger than me, bigger than us, bigger than we um, mindset that just opens up doors and pathways for them. Maybe it's success in industries, or maybe it's success in overall quality of life and well being. I think it could be any of that, but yeah, starts I think with awareness of something more.
yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You
Yeah.
answered
What
really
about
good.
you? Is that kind of how? I mean, yeah.
And when I go, a person who's pretty far along in the wake up
Mm,
category,
yeah.
and who's also not neglecting show up, clean up, and grow up.
Yeah.
Pretty far along in all four of those. People who don't know what we're talking about are invited to go back and look at our previous episodes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think about that, and also, um, kind of like what you're talking about. Collect. It's a collective thing.
Yeah. Collective. That's a good word.
So,
Yeah.
so it's interesting because Nora's. You mentioned the phrase backstory. Her backstory is that her father, Gregory Bateson, was one of the most renowned scientists of the 20th century.
Mm,
Uh, and he was multidisciplinary. Yeah, that's the phrase. So he was trained in anthropology,
okay.
biology,
Mm.
mathematics, and physics.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, was really evolved in systems thinking,
Yeah.
how they intertwine. And for some reason, he was a darling at Esalen Institute. Did you ever hear of that?
No. Mm-mm.
Esalen Institute, 1960s and 1970s in Big Sur,
Okay.
California,
Yeah.
was where the early New Age movement uh, was concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to Esalen. I have a friend that went to Esalen. You go to Esalen to spend a week or two, and you're hearing Timothy Leary.
Okay.
You're hearing Alan Watts.
Yeah.
These are the luminaries of the time. Um, Shunryu Suzuki, who brought Zen to America, basically.
Yeah.
Early yoga luminaries, and Nora grew up there
Okay.
and was overhearing all this stuff. And what she heard about in enlightenment in the mind of all these people was something that you tried to acquire for yourself,
Mm.
an elevated perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I grew up.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up, but that's what I heard when I first started looking into Buddhism and yoga was you can, but it was individual pursuit.
Yeah.
That's what the point of
Okay.
all this thing is that the New Age movement, as it was born in America, still reflected to a certain degree the rugged individualism of the American culture,
Right.
which has its strengths and it has its partial truths,
Mm-hmm.
but it also has its flaws.
Right.
And she is turning with this book combining, she is turning the page on that and calling us out to think of ourselves more so as a collective
Yeah.
and transcontextual, which is why we're talking about Sweet Little Nellie and Evie in this show,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Yeah.
plants
Right.
and Johnny Cash.
Right.
Enlightenment is not an individualistic project.
Mm.
Very, very big observation.
Interesting.
If you've
Yeah.
spent much time hanging around with Zen students and yogis,
Mm-hmm.
always there's a sense of warmth, camaraderie, but there isn't a sense of we are achieving enlightenment together,
Right.
whatever enlightenment means. And I loved your definition of it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it, and you're beside me, and you're beside me, and I wish you the best. But this is like something that's going on inside my head.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes on to talk about how she uses as an example. I think her father brought this up first. When you think of a hemoglobin molecule,
Right.
this would be an example her father would use, being a scientist.
Biology. Yeah. Right. And for those of you that are not medically oriented, hemoglobin being the cells that are what we call blood cells, primary blood cells. So.
Right. And you can talk about, thank you for that, nurse. Greatly appreciate it.
No
I
worries.
thought we were talking about, no, I'm kidding. You could talk about the individual characteristics of a hemoglobin molecule and describe the texture of it, how many atoms are in it, or whatever
Yeah.
it is, and completely miss what a hemoglobin molecule is, because you're isolating it and describing it as an individual self.
Mm.
And it only becomes a hemoglobin molecule in its proper state by how it interacts
Right.
with the rest of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's similar to what I'm saying about enlightenment.
Yeah.
We open up to our context.
Right.
So then she goes on to say, and I watched a video on Gregory Bateson, and I started in on this book for the second time, and I read 77 pages of it. It's making much more sense this time than last.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time I was lost. Oh no, where was I going with that? Hemoglobin. Or you could become a 68-year-old man who has brain farts.
Yeah. So hemoglobin, part of the
Well,
whole really, it gets it. Here's the structural definitions of it, but then it's part of a whole in a system. Um, that,
It is gone. The next thing I was going to say has evacuated my mind. Well, anyway, we can keep going. So she's it's just all come back to me now. When we look at problems, oh, you're frozen. Oh, not now you
oh,
came back. Yeah.
okay.
When we look at problems in the world, we look at education breakdown, or maybe it's not broken down, but it's not really addressing the realities of the 21st century and what's to come.
Right.
We haven't gotten into multi-generational learning.
Hmm.
Are we really addressing what kids are going to need to know?
Yeah.
Okay, then you've got that, and then you've got agricultural, or let me describe it, food, food availability, or the food chain, the supply chain for food.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that that's not going to break down?
Right.
I can go to the store today and buy blueberries grown in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
What if that somehow breaks down? It becomes too expensive to drive them.
Right.
Political upheaval. Okay, so
Right.
you've got this challenge, and then you've got, let's say, you've got the coral reef problem, which we all can think that we can look past, but if it completely dies out, then ocean currents are going to change,
Mm.
and that's going to change climate
Right. Whether, yeah. Mm-hmm.
currents, potentially disastrously.
Right.
America become a desert.
Yeah.
Okay, so we look at one of these issues, education stuff, and we look at it through the lens of education. And Gregory Bateson looked at it through the lens of the coral reef,
Mm-hmm.
of financial education, wealth inequality,
Yeah.
mental health, the plight of migratory birds. All that was part of his information.
Right. Okay.
He called it siloing,
Mm.
siloing our awareness. And instead, combining is the way to go.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it's not just so easy. It's we as I'm reading about this and watching her on YouTube, I'm realizing how deeply embedded within me is, oh, you've got an education problem? Bring in the education experts.
Right.
Instead, let's bring in the education experts,
Mm-hmm.
and let's bring in other dimensions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a marvelous way to go. And then I've got I told you in our little text message this morning when I was telling you what I was going to talk about, we are going to talk about possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about this at greater length in other shows, but let's say that you have a one of these issues that we've been describing. I'm just trying to come up with a different example. Well, you have an issue that you want to address as a culture. How about the judicial system?
Okay.
And Trump is with impunity now,
Mm-hmm.
doing this Trump currency. Have you heard about
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
cryptocurrency or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
The Trump coin.
yeah.
And corrupt people all over the world are buying influence.
Right.
Okay. So blatant corruption. How do we address this? You can bring in the legal experts and they can come in what Gregory Bateson would call a direct, and Nora Bateson, his daughter, a direct first uh, first order intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Intervention,
Okay.
right?
Right.
That is almost inevitably going to have cascading ill effects,
Okay.
which is why we have so many problems, because we're addressing our issues that we're facing with, the liberals are they're saying, well, we want to do better, so let's do this. We've called in an expert, a legal expert, who've come up with a solution. She, in her book, says this is similar to the mythology and the folklore of three wishes.
Ah.
A genie gives you three wishes, and you go, well, I've got these issues in my life.
Right. Right.
I've got poverty, so I want $1,000,000.
Right. Right.
I want Cindy Lou to love me, so
Yeah.
I wish that Cindy Lou would love me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I have a sore foot, so I'm wishing that my sore foot would go away.
Right.
Bam, bam, it's all good.
Yeah.
And then all three come to backfire on you.
Mm. Right.
Cindy Lou turns out to not be compatible.
Yeah.
Everybody in your family wants your money,
Right.
and you get robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
Also, you're trying to rely on your money for happiness, and it somehow betrays you.
Right. Right.
Your sore foot being healed robs from you the one chance that you had for rapport with Cindy Lou, because she was
Mm.
gonna come around with a hot towel and fix it, and the two of you are gonna have a wonderful time interacting.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you're just independent of her
Right.
in the relationship. So she says this mythology and folklore, which exists in many, many cultures,
Oh
the,
yeah.
the three wishes
Yeah.
backfiring, is exactly what we're doing in our culture with political problems and
Yeah.
social problems. We're going with, well, let's do this. Instead, she's talking about developing adaptability, flexibility, relational,
Mm.
a strong awareness of our enmeshment with one another, our entanglement with one another,
Yeah.
celebrating Evie's birthday as if it belongs to the community,
Right.
because it does in some way. It's also her individual birthday, but we join it together
Right.
and celebrating the life of little 3-week-old Nellie
Mm-hmm.
and whoever else
Right.
is having a time of transition. Celebrating the two people who are watching us right now.
Mm. Yeah.
Hello there, people.
Yeah.
So it's I'm reading it for a second time.
Right.
I'm rereading it because I have a sense that Nora has something unique for us to learn
Yeah.
and to apply to our lives. I feel it in my bones.
Right. Well, and I mean, yeah. I mean, we could spend hours probably just in our own sphere and experiences pointing out all the ways in which something is a siloed approach, right? Um, and there's these buzzwords that are very popular now, um, and yet I think we miss the intention. Things like holistic, or in my world of healthcare, whole health. Um, we talk about it, integrated medicine,
Yeah.
um, things like that. And there's definitely people recognizing, people reaching and knowing that there's a better way that isn't a surgical. Hey, this needs this. It's best addressed with a scalpel. Um, versus, okay, well, can we do a little bit less with that traditional siloed approach, and can we integrate some other concepts to really tighten this up so it's not just a one and done, we fixed it and we move on to the next, but really either there's a, you know oh, well, now that we're done focusing on that, the foot pain, well, actually it was because the knee was bad and the foot was compensating, so the knee's bad, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
you're just constantly chasing that, right? Versus
Constantly chasing it is a good way of describing it.
yeah, yeah.
Because then
um
you have unintended consequences of the three wishes, and
right,
then you've got to come up with more wishes
yeah,
to deal with the unintended consequences. Now I wish that Cindy Lou wouldn't love me.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah, yeah. And going back to what you said, there's a need to be adaptable and flexible. And to use the example of say the Trump currency, corruption, judicial. Well, actually, we talked about the tool for the job is judicial, but then we see how that is being circumvented, leveraged, loopholes, whatever the case may be. And so then you're going, well, where's the disconnect? What's missing? Well, it's the fact that there are people who are taking advantage of opportunities while we are still playing catch up.
Right, right.
Yeah. So there's always going to be somebody taking advantage of the system before the system and the world and the processes, infrastructure, whatever it may be, catches up. So,
And why are they so corrupt?
yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, you think about that. I mean, okay, yeah, we can fix all this. We don't want people to merge too soon in this flow of traffic here. So let's move the median or the wall or partition out farther into the on ramp, right? So that they're not doing it. And then, but it's just okay. But now you've created something else where this, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So,
Exactly.
and I think there's a part of nature too um, that is it is at conflict with what we're discussing of this idea of combining, and the conflict is that there is in our core a self-interest, a self-preservation that takes over. um, and it's, yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of it. And I mean, I don't like to say the word selfish because that sounds so accusatory. Um, but yeah, I think there's a war. I think we all. I mean, I think I've found myself struggling with it, like, bias or self interest, and
Oh yeah.
It interferes with some of these concepts of
Amen.
what's better for me and everybody, and it's more of this integrated all collective mindset. Yeah, so interesting.
Beautiful.
So you have some material that kind
I
of
do.
share from these concepts from her. What
You
do
and
we?
I, our minds think we're thinking on the same level of timing.
Oh, good.
I was just pulling out the poem, and you said, "So you have some material." Yeah, I have. I told you I had two poems. I
Okay.
think I'm going to hold off on one. It's beautiful, but I think we're going to do it for next time, and we'll
Okay.
just read this one poem. I found it to be. I was like, yes. It's called Somehow.
Somehow, and by
Nora
okay,
Bateson.
by Nora Bateson. Okay.
Somehow we have to carry trauma and stay imaginative enough to rebuild a society that cares.
Hmm.
Somehow we have to be angry enough to fight and tender enough to stay sensitive to the nuances of mutual learning. Somehow, from the fragmentation of human constructs, we have to find a way to perceive and participate in the unity of life.
Hmm.
Somehow, we have to.
Yeah. Somehow.
Carry trauma, stay imaginative enough to rebuild a society that cares,
Yeah.
be angry enough to fight, and tender enough to stay sensitive to the nuances of mutual learning. Oh my gosh, that's great.
I like that.
Somehow, from the fragmentation of human constructs,
Hmm.
we have to find a way to perceive and participate in the unity of life. Fragmentation, different
Yeah.
perspectives. We have to find a way to perceive and participate in the unity of life. Somehow we have to.
I
Yeah,
think that's
I'm
very,
with on that.
you know, yeah. I think there's two things I'll note on that. Um, that Nora Bateson in this example is as challenged with this notion of we we need to do better, and
Yeah,
yet we're still struggling and finding our way in doing that, because if the poem would be titled, probably more of a here's what you do. If she knew the
yeah,
if she knew the answers, it wouldn't be titled somehow. Um,
yeah.
but
Yes,
but
right.
yeah. So, but somehow, and I think this is a really good point to make at this point right now, contextually in our society and in American society, which we reside and speak of. But I'm sure it applies globally as well. Because yeah, there is a tone right now in our communities, that the way things are is pretty unsettling, uncomfortable. Um, I don't like uh, thinking of people who may have shared views with the current state of the Republican Party or Donald Trump, um, I don't like thinking of the extremes of, you know, you're homophobic, transphobic, you're racist, I don't like that, because I know deep down, I know that's not true of most people. Um, and I also don't think, I think they're not as comfortable being like, oh yeah, my friend Nick over here is a libtard. You know, they would never be so insensitive to do that. Even though keyboard warriors and social media people are really spewing this narrative, right? But that's not. I don't think that's who we are in our communities and our closer relationships with people. And there's a sense of somehow we have to get back to seeing each other as human again. Yeah,
Yeah.
somehow. So
You know, and a big thing there is for me, reading that is okay, openness to somehow.
yeah,
What is it that we have to do? And she spells it out.
hmm
That's what she wants to get back to.
yeah,
And right now, I don't have the answer, and that's probably a good thing because it would probably be a direct first order answer that would facilitate lots of other problems. You know, Cindy Lou still loves me even though I've begged her not to. You know, problems
yeah,
that evoke, and you know, it's openness.
yeah,
It's openness to learning.
yeah. I think that's a good. I like that part of what she said, or what that poem said. An openness to learn. Yeah, yeah. The the ongoing narrative of us, them, you know, pitting people against one another. I think that's getting stale, um, tired, unproductive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got railed into last night by a Trumper online,
Oh,
and I was thinking to myself, I think that you don't even really. I could feel a weariness in his attack on me.
mm,
You know,
yeah.
and I've developed. It's somewhat hostile, but I've developed a um, response back. I said, "May you get the life that you voted for."
yeah.
Because
Oh,
I don't want to get into all this stuff about
yeah.
no, well, you're stupid, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a trap. It's a trap for sure. Yeah. So, well,
Next time we're going to see a beautiful piece of artwork
okay.
called called combining.
All right.
Very simple. We're going to see if we've developed a snapdragon rather than just green.
Yeah.
We're going to hear another poem.
Okay.
We're going to go further into uh, the world of Nora Bateson that I'm trying to grok.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I
Me too.
appreciate the discussion. Feeling of wholeness. Honestly, I feel that today. You know, hopefully for anybody else joining, uh, agree, disagree. But at the end of the day, feeling a sense of, you know, um, collective. You know, a goal of just being a little bit more enlightened each day, or each opportunity we have to explore that. I think that's, you know, we're doing our best. So
Amen, brother.
yeah. So I appreciate your time working through some of the world's toughest problems.
Right.
um, And, Nora doesn't have the answers, but somehow we'll find a way, and we need to.
Yeah, and she's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the answers, but she's pushing me down the road.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guiding us all, because I think that's the other thing too, is most people aren't going to follow a script with regards to this.
Right.
So nudges to explore, to find our own path to enlightenment, whatever that may be. Meditation, reading, watching a YouTube, presentation or podcast. So,
Petting a kitten.
Petting a kitten, or just planting some seeds. Yeah. So, I'm gonna do my part in that, and I'm gonna celebrate my daughter today. So, until next time, we'll see you. I guess we're looking at, is that going to be Memorial Day? Yeah. We will see you on Memorial Day. That's a good one. We'll have to think about something for Memorial Day. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yes.
Peace to all our viewers. Right now, 0, but
that's okay. Watching after the fact. Sometimes people are listening. They're not looking at the actual video. They're just listening.
Yeah.
That's cool too. But yes, peace to you all. Thanks for tuning in. And next time we'll see you. So Be safe. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.